Hi and welcome to the All Things ITSM Global Podcast. We're coming to you from ITSM 15 in London. I'm Kirsty McGowan, I'm here with Andy White.
Hi, good to be here.
Simone Moore.
Hi everyone.
And we have the pleasure of speaking with Jon Morley from the University of Nottingham.
Hello everyone, thanks for having me.
Nice to have you here. I recognise your name from social media from the Back to ITSM site at times. So I've seen a few of the posts and comments you've made, so nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, likewise, thank you for having me.
So you've had a little bit of time at the conference today. You've seen the opening keynote and a few other sessions. So what have you gotten the most out of so far?
Wow, I think all three talks I've seen so far, right from Rosemary kicked us off through to Simon Wheatcroft, I think his name was, doing his keynote, and then I just talked then I saw the Scion one led by James Finnister of Montgomery. Right. So if I just give you a quick appraisal of what we did there, I thought Rosemary set the vision out quite nicely over where the forum wants to go moving forward. Simon Wheatcroft, wow.
Yeah, he was incredible, wasn't he?
Yeah, to run for miles and miles. We're blind and everybody just comes out and supports him, just with what's going on in the world.
It does show the power of social media too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That you tweet it out and then you've got 20 people running with you. Yeah, it's
and
pretty
the fact
amazing.
That there's still great human nature going on there, so that was pretty extraordinary. And then more industry related, although we don't really do Scion where I work, I think we can take some really good lessons away in terms of how you work with your suppliers, not beat them up all the time. You know, a contract is only a piece of paper, it's the processes, the relationships and so on. So it's really good stuff we can transcend there. So really enjoyed
visibility of what's actually going on with the suppliers.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that there is an organisation such as TCS who are living, breathing this, but they're sharing their expertise across the community, which is great.
So what's the big things for your focus in the coming year for Nottingham?
Oh, quite a lot. We've not too long ago had a reorg in the IT organisation, so we had a new CIO come in. She has had unprecedented investment in something like 40-50 new people have arrived.
Wow.
But fundamentally the three parts of the strategy are to deliver something that's called Project Transform. So that's fundamentally changing the way we recruit and support students. So it's fundamentally a CRM system, but the business change behind it is unprecedented because it's so fragmented. So right when you pick up a prospectus through to graduation. Other things include sort of the modernisation of technology, so cloud, Office 365, that kind of stuff is very much on the horizon. And also not to forget the fact that the IS Renew, as we call it, which is refreshing not only the processes and the people and the technology, but how do we really step up and become that true partner to the institution, because historically it's very much an us and them kind of culture.
Yep.
Well, it's a university, so I mean, how is that? Is the culture of universities moving fast enough along with what's happening with their students and what they do with technology? The traditions versus...
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I think the short answer is it's a bit mixed. Depending on which institution you talk to, some of them are very cutting edge. They interact with students via social media, so if you have a problem that you can send a tweet and they'll try and reset your password for you. Is that innovative for universities? Absolutely. In some cases at Nottingham and across the Russell Group, the pace of change is a little bit slow, so very much email, phone call, that kind of old-fashioned way of working.
Because you clearly have unique challenges in higher ed, because it kind of probably all happens in a short period of time. How do you deal with some of those challenges?
Keep calm and carry on, I think is
you got the mug.
a really good one.
Yeah. You need that one.
I think the fact that we're starting to be that little bit more forward thinking in terms of what our planning is, but you're absolutely right. You know, with the new government coming in, they fundamentally started to change some of the way we recruit students. So really keeping abreast of what goes on from a government kind of standpoint, but equally what students wanting as well. You know, they are light years ahead in terms of they bring their own technology. When I was at university 15 years ago, you were lucky to try and get a PC in a library. Now you can find a PC. Nobody uses them.
No, they don't touch them anymore.
So do you think universities then are the environment where it's actually the students, the customer, that is pulling the university into the new tech future, as opposed to the other way around.
Very, very much so. You look at the changes I just mentioned earlier, one of the most controversial ones has been the student fees, tuition fees. So when people are now paying tens of thousands of pounds to get a university education, what am I getting for my money?
Yeah.
The degree is no longer just a good bit of paper that made you stand out from the crowd. It's what have you achieved there, what career aspirations, what services we're offering. So very much so. And I think you'll also see that from another standpoint. If you're a research-led university, you know, they have historically either been somewhat neglected in terms of how they're looked after their technology needs, or they've been very siloed doing their own thing. So it's really how do we make sure that we're aligned with what they want to do, what grants and bids.
Because that's part of how a university makes its money, is through their research. So.
Is there a good interlock between the faculties and IT? Is that something that's improving, or is... Because I guess they have their own needs, may not be IT based, they may be non-IT based, and they need services in their portfolio that they want to extend and use your platform.
I think that's a great question. There's very much a mix. Depends on who the faculty is. If some of them don't have a particular technology or service background, they'll quite happily rely on the support and professional services, finance, HR, IT. The ones who are a little bit more knowledgeable in those areas, or experts in those areas, so engineering, computer science, the sciences, they tend to be a lot more cutting edge with open source software and so on. So it's trying to find that balance of getting them not to go out and spend lots of money in isolation of us, because very much, I always say that HE's only just started to go through its recession in many ways, so it can't afford to just have this continual pot of money without wondering what the ownership is. But equally, it's finding that balance that we're not impinging on the academic freedom, so lecturers and researchers can go out and still be bringing in the business of the university, but have that collaboration and so on and so forth.
Does your support centre, an area, and the guys on there, are you using students to actually do all of that too? So the students from computing and science, engineering, well, even from film and communications.
So one of the things we often do, depending on the peaks and troughs of the year, is take on student temps. So nobody knows technology and students' behaviour better than those.
Students,
but one of the projects I'll just call out briefly that has fundamentally started to change the way we are doing teaching and learning is a collaboration project we did with computer science. It's called Flexible Desktops. So you have a Windows operating system with a load of applications, but you can access them on your own device or the PCs in the lab, and ideally remotely 365, which has fundamentally changed the balance of how do we support that. And we've had a lot more student engagement, what they think works, what doesn't work. So again, going back to your point about being dragged along, you know, they are the true pioneers. But I think it's great because it gives them the opportunity to build the career skills that they will need, but also dragging some of us into the 21st century a little bit.
I mean, that is quite exciting, because I think the that university population is probably one of the most rapidly changing in terms of technology than any organisation you could work in. The way students actually expect to come and do things when they get to university, that's difficult to support.
Yes, it can be. You know, we have different flavours of operational systems out there. So Linux, I'm not even going to go into. There's countless ones there which students and researchers need. Different devices. I don't know if we've made the bold statement we'll support anything, but we have introduced a smart bar in one of our libraries, so a little bit more like the Apple or O2 store experience. So
great idea.
Staff or student, bring your device along and we'll try and help you do anything. So even if we don't necessarily have the answer, we then have that, we become the experts and share the knowledge. So we try and build our support knowledge base that way as well. China and Malaysia, we also have campuses out there. So technology is certainly having to modernise. So a lot of the web conferencing facilities and networking upgrades and so on are having to be that little bit more robust. Whereas historically they've been left to do their own thing.
And that cultural change between faculties too, because you know, my experience has always been individual kingdoms. So I'm not so sure about working on single platform across all faculties. I don't even know if that's possible. Well, certainly not at the moment, from my understanding.
Probably not.
I think we have corporate standards in terms of this is your laptop, this is the OS, but going back to the point of what do researchers and students need. So we have to, we can't just suddenly say to them, you're going to use Windows and that's the end of it, because if you're calculating algorithms or stem cell research or whatever,
It's not going to cut it.
No.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes they're inventing the application they need
Absolutely,
to do
absolutely.
that.
So this is kind of, can we give them the storage, the processing power and so on. So we are moving into more standardisation of the services that we offer, but we're very much at the beginning. So, but it's quite exciting times.
Yeah.
Picking up your point about faculties, we've started to integrate the historical support teams in faculties. So
Wonderful.
our first line teams have got that local knowledge of the business. They are not just jack of all trades, but real experts in what engineers and scientists get up to. So we're really seeing that bear fruit.
Exciting. And tertiary education is a very different environment to those that a lot of us have worked in. I've actually had experience in the last couple of years in a couple of tertiary situations doing service management initiatives, and
How has that worked for you?
I think the thinking space and the culture side.
It's very, very interesting, and it takes a little bit of standing back and having a really good look and saying, okay, so this is what I'm looking at. This is not the same as working in a bank, doing service management in a bank or a hospital or something else. It's tertiary is its own,
it is
unique.
Its own little universe.
It's a fantastically unique culture. You mentioned
that is
the bank.
great.
I used to work for a corporate bank. You suddenly learn the pace of change,
Yes.
and you need to influence people considerably more than just filling in a form. So I really enjoy working there.
Well, fantastic. Thanks for your time today. It's been a pleasure chatting with you,
Yeah,
and
likewise.
hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again sometime.
Well, thank you very much for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Welcome.
Cheers.